Hey there, mamas. It's your girl, Nina Shea, aka Mama Bear, and you are in the den. We are on the Monday night Mama Bear episode of this podcast. And of course, we are doing a recap on the Colorado Buffs Pro Day, and bringing you the 411 on her favorite college football team is none other than the self proclaimed Colorado Buffs football team mom herself, Miss V. What's up, Miss V?
Hey, Miss Nina Shea, how you doing?
I'm
I'm
doing
so excited
fine.
about Colorado Buffs. Come on, Buff Nation, let's go, baby. You know what it
All
is.
right, all
So
right, all
excited.
right.
Couldn't wait for the day to
So,
finally come. It was better than I could have ever imagined. So, Miss Nina Shea, play
yeah,
my theme music, baby. You know,
your
Buff
theme
Nation, woo,
music.
woo, 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 Buff,
Okay,
Buffaloes, let's go.
okay, okay, okay. So, what's your theme music, Miss V?
It's a song. It's a song that gets hype when it's time to go out and take our business on the field. So it's a theme music.
That right
Come
there.
on, Buff. That's it. Come on, Buffaloes. Live and direct. I'm nominated myself as the virtual team mom.
All right, so we got a little bit of that in there. All right, so
Such
what's
a good.
going on? What's happening, Miss V? I didn't get a chance to watch Pro Day, so I had to, come to the source because I know if anybody was watching and praying for those boys and just everything that a mama would notice, it would be you. So, what did you think about Pro Day?
Oh my goodness. First thing I want to start off by saying is that I'm so proud of Travis and Shador. The way that they were just so unselfish, how they shared the pro day with their teammates, their brothers, because of them
Mhm.
being top candidates. They could have gone ahead and gone to the combine and, went ahead and showed their talents there. But what they chose to do was to come back home and do it at home so that their brothers could be showcased as well. Because as both
Okay.
of us know, as team moms and football moms, it's like scouts are out there. Not only are they looking at Shador or Travis, but all the other players that are there. It gives them a better light and get the spotlight on them as well. So I thought that was very mature of them and very unselfish of them to bring it and save that because everybody was chomping at the bit to see Travis perform and to see Shador Sanders perform as well. So I love them for doing that. I thought that was just so fantastic, and they showed nothing but brotherly love out there. And I let everything get a little taste, everything get a little highlight. So it was phenomenal,
Okay.
simply
All
phenomenal.
right. And so, overall, what did you think about how Colorado handled Pro Day? I mean, what did you think was different, from their Pro Day versus anybody else's?
Well, first of all, it was very smart and very strategic as far as the timing,
Mhm,
because as we
mhm,
know, the draft is going to be like in 2 weeks, I think it is, April 20
mhm.
something around there, like very close. So I think
Right.
it was very strategic and smart to have them do it on the tail end of things, because now if you turn on your TV, you turn on YouTube, it's all about those buffs, baby. They're talking about it and they're going over it and they're highlighting everything that went on. So it's kind of like they're going to be the last team on the scouts' mind because everybody else did it however many weeks ago that it took place and it's kind of already forgotten. Now
So
it's
they're
like fresh
fresh
in
right
everybody's
now.
mind.
Okay.
So
All
it's
right.
very
Cool.
strategic and very smart the way that, because Deion, my boy, he's very smart, very, very smart businessman, very smart, excellent coach. And so I
Yeah,
think
he
he's put his
is the
boys in
marketing
like,
machine.
yes, he is,
Mhm.
definitely. So by doing that, I'm telling you, when you turn on the TV, all you see is Shador's performance and everything. You see Travis, and all the other buffs there. And it's just a great thing to see. Magnificent.
Okay.
Not to
So
say, oh,
we know that Shador is like the main attraction, and Travis, who didn't play, you were saying that, or not even play, but Travis didn't get out there and participate in other than a few drills.
well, he did the route running drill with Shador. It was about maybe
Mhm.
5 or 4 receivers out there, and they
Uh-huh.
ran routes and everything like that. So they did. I think Shador completed 62 out of 67 throws out there.
Mm,
Balls were dropped, so it was only balls dropped. So they did all the different drills. As far as the running back was out there, so everybody got a lot of shine. All the
right.
other receivers out there, LeJontay Wester, you got Jimmy Horn Jr., you got
Hmm.
Shepard was out there, you had Travis out there. So it was really good how they did it because they work so good. It's like a well-oiled machine,
Right.
So all the naysayers have been trying to talk about Shador. It's like have brought up a point to you that as far as I know, out of history, college history, is two quarterback that hold the record of having completed over 14,000 yards, right? Over
Mm-hmm.
70% complete. Shador Sanders is one of those two. So for
Right.
him to be at such a high caliber, he also won the Golden Arm achievement. He won that, but for him to have done so much, and he knows I think it's like 5 or 6 different offenses that that he's gone through, and every program that he's gone to, they was not doing so well, but when they left it in good condition. So he goes
Mm-hmm.
in, and when they show up, they change the scene, they change the climate of everything, and it's just upward and good for everybody. But everybody kind of like downplays it, like just because he's Deion Sanders' son, but
Mm-hmm.
also that has nothing to do with his skill set because he still has to improve himself on the field. And as Jay Z says, the numbers don't lie. So my boy
Right.
definitely has the numbers, and he's worthy to get the recognition that he's been getting.
Right. So what I saw is most people seem to give him props. I know you and I talked about the fact that, there was, the question about him patting a ball. But other than that, I didn't really see too much on the negative side. But with the patting the ball thing, of course, he had people that, are in the NFL, that were kind of defending the fact that it really doesn't matter. It's not going to make you, less of a player. But, he did have his own defensive line, if you will. So, he had people coming out like, Darius Slayton, who was basically
Yeah.
saying he didn't think that that was a big enough deal to make a difference in, what he's going to be able to do in the NFL. But you do have, some other guys, like you have, like Micah Parkins, and you have some other guys that are basically just kind of trying to say, for the most part, and actually it wasn't Michael Parkins. He was definitely, kind of saying he didn't see the big deal either. But like the safety, the New York Jets safety, Andre Cisco, he tweeted, which I guess started this whole thing. He tweeted, what do you say? He said, "Boy, better stop patting that ball. We're breaking on that early." And so I'm not sure why everybody just got all defensive on that. It seems to me from what he was saying is that the whole point of pro day is to look and see where your strengths are and your weaknesses, right? And so what he was saying as an NFL player was that they're watching. And it's like those NFL players, their job is to come get you. They're going to try to break you from the very beginning, no matter who your daddy is. So it seemed like he was trying to say, we see that vulnerability. And to me, it was just a point not to try to tear him down, but it was just kind of what the NFL players do. They talk, excuse my French, because I know you're a pastor, but they talk shit all the time. So what he was just trying to say is that 1 second, that millisecond of patting the ball, not that he's the only one that ever did it, but that one thing can be the difference of you getting sacked or you missing the mark, when your receiver is on the route or your tight end or whatever. So that's kind of what I got from it. I didn't this time, because I know we all talk about how they try to tear the Sanders down. This time I didn't see too much negativity, and I didn't personally take offense to what the guy said about him patting the ball, because he was just pointing it out. And I mean, they did it with what you call it, Caleb Williams. I mean, they do it with all the quarterbacks. They talk about the strengths and the weaknesses. So like you said, if that's the biggest thing that they got to point out, I mean, really, it sounds like he had a great pro day anyway, and it's all gonna be good.
Yeah, definitely. According to all the other commentators and the interviews
Hmm.
and everything that I've seen so far, they definitely gave him great reviews and everything because,
Yeah.
again, it's not about him riding on his father's coattail. It's about him having to earn those numbers and that position himself because it doesn't matter who your father is. If you're Michael Jackson's child and you're going to be a moonwalker, you best believe when you're on the stage, you best to moonwalk. So with the
Hmm.
Sanders boys, even though that's their father, he's the one that's a Hall of Famer, but they still have to handle their business. They still have to perform, and the cream always rises to the top. And I've never seen either of them make the excuse or say they don't have to do this or don't have to do that. They're always working hard. They show because all I do is watch all their videos and the training and when off season, all those different things, and they're always
Mhm.
grinding. I've never heard Shador, as far as I know, say I've arrived and there's nothing I need to improve on. He's always said on off season there's different things that we're looking to improve. He's always looking to tweak, always looking to improve, always training, looking out, reaching out to other NFL quarterbacks like Vic and Tom Brady, which trains him and everything. So he's always looking to see what he can do to improve his game, which I think is a good thing.
Right,
You know,
right.
like that people don't seem to bring up a lot is that they always seem to try and pit Cam against Shador, like those two are pitting because who's going to be number one. But
Mhm.
seen them go on trips together, where Shador Sanders' trainer, his quarterback trainer, actually trains Cam as well, and they actually work
Mhm.
out together. And they even
Right,
said out themselves said, "Well, the media tries to pit us against one another, but we're family. Like
right,
we're both good." So I like that. It's like sometimes people that have certain abilities, they don't like to give you the blueprint. They want to hold on to all the gems themselves. Never want to
mhm,
like let up and say, "Well, here's my trainer. Here's this. Let's do this and that." So, just the mere
mhm.
fact that their brotherhood, where they're two different on two different teams. Yes, they're up, in the same draft year and all that same position, but they still
Right,
have a sense of camaraderie together, even though they're teammates, but their brothers come first. And I like that they treat
right.
each other like brothers, family.
And especially in this day and age, we, and I'm going to say, black quarterbacks, we understand, how few and far in between there used to be. And so at this point, we certainly can't afford to really just be tearing each other down. You know what I mean? We have to support and bring each other up. And the same with Cam. He wasn't uh void of any criticism either. I was looking at, they mentioned that he needed to work on not forcing plays and he needed to be more consistent on his ball spiraling. I'm reading this. And ball spiraling, excuse me, spiraling downfield and not drifting in the pocket. So as good as he is, and he was also a Heisman contender, like you said, there is room for improvement. I do feel like you were saying, just because it's because of the name that, Shador and Shiloh are under such scrutiny. And because, as everybody was saying, it's they're being outspoken and they're being like, I'm in control of my ship, where everybody else has always been in a situation where they go in, they just follow the norm. So because they don't follow the norm, naturally people are going to try to tear them apart. And like you said, it's up to them to prove it. And I know personally, I was thinking about somebody that we know who said a couple of years back the NFL made 9 mistakes before him.
Right,
and,
right.
and although he didn't really have much of a flourishing career in his NFL stay with the few teams that he played for, every player has to have a certain level of confidence in themselves, and sometimes it works out, or sometimes it doesn't. But I'm believing good things are going to happen for those boys. But tell me about what you saw since you watched Pro Day, because I didn't watch it. How did Shador look?
I mean, the thing that's so crazy or odd to me is like he has years and years of footage, and I mean he's proven himself time and time again. And it was kind of like they were trying to kind of paint this scenario that he wasn't, almost like we're watching like this fiction or stuff, like, oh well, now we're going to see him in person, up close in person, not like all of a sudden now he's not going to be good, because they were even talking about trying to say all of a sudden he has a weak arm. Like, since when?
But
It's
how
like
did
if
he
you watch any of
look to you?
the games,
Uh-huh.
oh, strong,
How did he look
he's
to
strong,
you? Uh-huh.
strong, confident. He knows who he is. I mean, they don't take anything. They don't take no days off. They don't take anything for granted. They train hard. They grind hard. And the thing that I
Mhm.
like the way that their fathers raised them, and the same thing that he pours over to the other teammates, is that it's okay to be confident. One thing that I noticed with our people, when I say our people, African Americans, especially our
Uh-huh.
males, they're always looked to be, they have to eat humble pie. And if they don't hang their head down and, oh, I'm so happy just to have this chance, and all of a sudden we're too much, we're too cocky. Well, I
Mhm.
think they should be loud and proud. I think if they work for it, if you work hard for it, like I say, if you look good, you play good. You play good, you feel good. You feel good, they pay good. So that's just what
Mhm.
it is. So I
Right.
like the fact instills that type of confidence in not just his sons, but in his players, period. You know,
Right.
that you have. So it's nothing wrong with that, having confidence. And, when he got out there, he even said with his receivers and everything, it was the last time they were going to be on the field. They'll meet up
Yeah.
again, or what have you.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much like, this is what we do. This it wasn't like all of a sudden there was some fake team this whole season we watched it. Now all of a sudden it's pro day. So that kind of like, well, how are we? Because we're going to produce the way we always been producing.
Right.
We're gonna play as brothers. We're gonna play as a team, and that's what they did. They were a fine oiled machine. All of the
Mm,
other receivers got to get their highlight. They got to get their shine. Jimmy
right.
Horn for a pass and he fell. Like he fell to catch it, and then he fell. He got up. He did a backflip on it. Like this is nothing. Like shake
I
this off.
mean,
This is what
he's
we
a
do.
bad boy. Oh yeah, he's a bad boy for sure.
Yes,
So
there's
how
some.
about Shiloh? How did Shiloh look out there?
Well, Shiloh, because with the Shador, he had it was like a 30-minute showcasing with him throwing the ball and everything like that. But
Uh-huh.
overall, which they did like his measurements, it's like his arm range was like 31.68 arm range, right? And then his
Mhm.
wing range was 75.28. His height, I couldn't catch what the height was, but that long jump that they do. So with the long
Mhm.
jump, he did like 0.5, which is excellent. That was like a good
Wow.
a good jump. The one guy, Shepard, when they did where they jump up and do the vertical, he
Vertical.
cleared
Uh-huh.
let's see, his was like 40. So he like cleared the whole rack out. And he's a
Wow.
lot taller than Shiloh. He did his jump, it
Right.
was like 10.7, and Shiloh came in like right behind him. So for him to be jumping like that, I mean, they kind of downplay Shiloh. He's got plenty of film to show that, he's part of the
Right.
headache gangs, but it's hard and everything, and he's a smart player out there. And these
Mhm.
boys, I mean, they've been taught by a professional. I mean, this is what their father does for a business. It's like having a father that's a chef, and your
Mhm.
chef is one teaching you to prepare a delicate meal. You gonna tell me they don't know how to cook? So I mean, you think that their father have been hipping them to games since they were like 6 and 7 years old? This is not, something he just started to do. And
Right.
Deion had made a with his oldest son, Deion Jr., that when he went to college, that the coaches really didn't give him a fair chance, and kind of did him a little dirty because of who his father is. And so he said he made a decision then that he was going to train his sons up and kind of like bring them up through the ranks. And that's exactly what he did from the rooter to the tutor all the way through. Which I think is good. Any parent would love to be able to do that because everybody doesn't treat your child fairly. And I just my heart goes out to him because I just wish somebody would have been kind like that to my son. Just when
Right.
he's kind to other people, he's not just good to his own kid, the
Right.
team. You watch the videos and the things that he does for them and how he encourages them and the time that he takes out and how he has open door policy. A lot of
Mhm.
coaches are not doing because
That's true.
Deion, he's a millionaire how many times over? He's not doing this because he's hurting for money, and for his kids, he has his kids earning their own money because he very well could have had a what do you call that thing? A trust fund. He could have a trust fund set aside for them.
Mhm.
And I mean,
Mhm.
his man's got millions of dollars. They could all got $2 or $3 million. He go start your own business. So football is not a play thing. Football is very serious, as both you and I both know. I mean, in order for you to be
Mhm.
out there putting, you got to love the game. You got to be tough. It's
You
not.
got to put
I
the
mean,
work in. Absolutely.
whew,
But
so
one
I mean, these boys are putting the work in not because they have to, obviously because they want
right.
to. So you
But
got to be
one of
able to respect.
True, true. Sorry about that. But one of the things that I am sure is going to happen, and I personally, not that I, am watching all the time and always in it like that, but I personally would like to see when Shador gets to the NFL, it is going to change. So it's no longer going to be your dad is your coach. It's no longer going to be you only do what your dad says because uh like the situation that, and I don't know all the particulars, but they were talking about, one of the scouts at the field, he was telling the boys, something about the start, and then Dion just walked over, Coach Sanders just walked over, and he was just like, no, you don't do X, Y, and Z, you do it your way, you do it your way. So that won't be happening in the NFL. So what is going to happen, which I think is a plus, for Shador, is that his father has mentored him. Like you said, he's poured everything into him and gotten him ready. So now when he gets into the NFL where the ball game is going to be different, all that he does is really going to be on his merit. It's not going to be about his daddy. I don't even know how much they're going to be talking about like Deion at that time, because it's really going to be about him and how he produces when he's out there. And there is a difference from college to NFL. So when he gets out there, whatever he brings to the table is what he's going to bring to the table. And I have to believe that there is benefit from being a celebrity's child, or for being like the child of a superstar athlete. But there's also the negative, and I'm sure there are times when you just kind of don't want to hear your parents name every time somebody's referencing you, because like you said, I'm out there putting in the work, I'm out there getting up early. They talk about his work ethic, they talking about how he comes early, he leaves late, how he studies the playbooks and all. So for him to do all of that, you don't want to hear every time he does something, Deion Sanders, Deion Sanders. So I think he is soon enough, he's going to have the opportunity for him to go out. Not that he has to prove anything to anybody in his mind, but he does have to prove, because they all have to prove. Even, Tom Brady, his mentor, had to prove once you get out there that you can handle the job. So once he gets out there, it's going to be Shador Sanders time. And I think, like you said, his father has prepared him. And then being the son of Deion Sanders, and all the stuff that he's had to listen to and deal with, and the naysayers, and the way that he's had to prove himself, that from everything that I know, even having a son, that played football in college, that to me is what's going to give him that edge, because he's definitely going to have a chip on his shoulder. I mean, he already, I'm sure, has one, but that's going to give him that grit, to get in there and to make it happen, and just prove I'm supposed to be here. And like you said, that doesn't have anything to do with Deion. Deion helped cultivate that, but he's still, that's something that he has to earn on his own. So come, when is the draft? uh Come
It's like
soon. It's
it's,
gonna
it's very yeah, but with Shador though, it's not like he's just now, because his dad not going to be his coach, that now he's going to be introduced to the grid. His father, the teams that he took him to, inner city teams, and like he been playing real football from a kid, so it wasn't like he's been playing ballet football. He's been playing real football, grinding,
happen.
because his dog. So he raised his sons to be the same way, to be tough. Football's a tough game, and everybody, So
Hmm.
I don't think Shador is thinking, or I don't think it's going to be like all of a sudden I'm out from under my father's shadow, because his dad couldn't get those numbers for him while he's been on the field. That's been him that's been doing the accuracy and throwing that ball the way he throws. It is him that puts the time in, because he studies those plays. He knows that
Hmm.
book. If you watch him on the side, some type of computer thing where he's watching the plays and he's talking to the offensive line guy, and they're doing the
Hmm.
plays, and and then so like Deion ain't got nothing to do with that. That's you got to put that in yourself. So I don't
But
think it's going to be
mhm.
for him. It's like, from the way when I hear them speak, they've been preparing for this day from the very beginning. So it's not like a shock, like all of a sudden I don't have my dad. It's like, this is what he raised him for. This is who he raised him to be. It's kind of like when you raise your child and it's time for them to move out on their own. It's like, well, this is what I raised you to be, the man. So this is what I raised you to be, this football player, this phenomenal football player that he put in the hours and the time for it. And I think
Right.
he'll have to be coach, because his coach is going to be his coach. I don't think that's going to be a problem.
That's true, but my point wasn't at all that he's going to be like, "Oh, I don't have my dad." My point is that the reality is that his dad's not going to be there. So everything that he does from this moment going forward is strictly going to be on him. His dad's not calling the plays, and he's not playing for his dad. So I'm simply saying that all that, people have said, and everything that he's proven, like you said, on the field so far, and what he's got to prove in the future, is really going to be on him. So I'm speaking just from people who have had parents that were even celebrities and not even in sports. Somebody says, oh, well, he's good, but he ain't no Denzel Washington. A lot of times people don't really want to always be compared, to how good their dad is, or they don't want every time they do something great, it'd be like, oh, that's Denzel's son, as opposed to, what his name is and what he's done. So that was pretty much my point, is that he's a good player. He he's benefited from being his father's son, truly. And then he has put the work in, but now when he gets to the NFL, it is going to be a different ball game altogether. And I don't even know it like that, but it's just obvious. You're going from college, you're going to the NFL, and you're going to guys that don't care where you come from. They don't care who your daddy is, and they really don't care about you in a sense of, oh, come, because I'm just going to put you up. He's going to be competing with other guys, that will take you out in a minute. And then it's just going to be a different ball game, which was my point. Like, not so much that he was thinking, oh, I don't have my dad anymore. I know he loves his dad and he learned a lot from him. But I'm just simply saying that for everybody that says, okay, he's Deion's son, he still is going to be on Deion's son, but now he's going to be in the NFL and he's going to be Shedeur Sanders. And it's going to be Shedeur Sanders, the starting quarterback, or is not going to be the starting quarterback, So, but I believe that he will do well. I mean, I just kind of feel like everybody, it's like you have the people that love, 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 Shedeur, Deion, they can do no wrong, or like they really love and admire him. And then you have people that just kind of like are middle of the road. And you got people that really don't care, people that are haters, either way. But they still, like you said, the proof is in the pudding. So whatever he does out there is going to be on him. And it sounds like he's going to have his day. Speaking of which, they talked about him possibly going like somewhere around 9 or so, but then also he could go maybe 2 if he's going to, like, what is it, the Broncos? I'm sorry, not the Broncos, the
Brown,
whatchamacallit, the Browns.
Browns.
So what do you think about, do you have any opinion about what team, he would play for? Because I know some people are really serious about what team they want to see him play for.
I would have liked to have seen him be a Raider, actually, because I think that
Oh,
would have been
really?
a good fit for him. And plus, it's close to California. It's been a nice little drive to go down and maybe possibly.
So you could
So,
go.
and
Okay.
also, I like their fan base. Their fans are real fans, and I think they would have taken him in and really loved up on him. And I just think that would have been a good look for him. But that's not going to happen now. But as
Okay.
far as I'm kind of opinion the way his dad says it, because they're God fearing people, and with God before you, who could be against you, and really God is in control of everything. Even sometimes if he goes to a team that on the outside we may think is not good for him or whatever, but God
Right.
knows the beginning to the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning, and the end. So he knows all things. So wherever he sends him, it's going to be exactly where God would have him to go. It may not
Mm,
look right, in the natural, but in the spirit sense, it's going to be exactly where he's supposed to go. So I think wherever he ends up with that, it's going to work out well for him. Me personally, I didn't want to see him go to the Brown because they seem to me appear to be a team that does so well to me.
uh-huh.
So I would
Uh-huh.
rather not see him start that struggle. But it's been his MO to take on those type of challenges and turn around a franchise. So it could be a
Right.
Superman day if he ends up there.
So do you
But
think like it's possible, because I thought I heard Dion say something about if all of them go, and I don't know if that's what he was trying to say, but let's just say, a couple of the players actually go to the same team. I think that would be an interesting look, like you said, because they've come into a program, even though it was under Dion, who has done something at Colorado that nobody's done anywhere. But if he has some of his teammates come along with him, and then some of the other guys in the draft, because there are so many talented players that are going into the draft. There's 200 and something more. But it is possible that that might be a good look for them, because at some point, like these teams they turn around or have to turn around at some point, you would think.
absolutely, and they talked about that. I mean, their path's going to probably cross again. You never know. Some
Of
hopefully may
course.
end up. I like to see some of them go with one of their brothers in the
Yeah.
sports. See,
Yeah.
I would like to see each one of them get to pair up and go with one. That would just be a nice
Right.
for me. I
Yeah.
would feel happy like that. See them because it's going to be a cool world, and unfortunately, for Shador and for Shiloh, the world's going to be a lot more cruel to them, a lot harder on them than they are on other people. Which I
Hmm.
wish, as Black people, and I'm not a prejudiced person, but I'm just saying, as Black people, I wish we
Hmm.
could be a little more loving, a little more kind with our own people, because it's almost like with our singers. If you like Shaka Khan, you can't be a Patti LaBelle fan. Or if you like this one, you can like it never could be. None of us could ever be more than one at the top. If you like Rihanna, you can't like Beyonce. But why is that? But if you notice with the other persuasions, they love them all. They have plenty of three or four of them that get to be at the top. But we're never like this. It's got to be just one.
We can
Why?
only have one, right, or two.
Yeah, you know what I mean. If you're Michael Jackson, you can't like Prince. Why?
Right.
We're the only ones I've seen in my years that I've been on this earth. That's the way it always appears to be with me. But these other folks, you can rock with Taylor Swift and Ariana Grande or whatever, whoever it is, and nobody cares. They can have more than one. But us, it's got to be. Oh no, you can only have one. You can't have too many. You all run around being successful. You can only have why? Why is
Yeah. But that's getting ready to
that?
change drastically. I mean, it already is because look at how many black quarterbacks we have in the league, and now look at what's happening in the world of coaching. I mean, I believe Michael Vick. I mean, you never know. Like you said, God is in control, but I believe Michael Vick has just as much capability of running a great program over there. He may not be, the marketing machine that Deion is, but I truly believe as far as what he brings to the table, the expertise that he has, and for a quarterback going to his program, I think he could do fantastic things, and he's steadily adding more ex NFL players to his uh, staff, his coaching staff. So, I mean, him and many others, I do believe, that this is definitely a new day that, we can appreciate more talent, and it doesn't just have to be just that one, and Dion has done things that no one has ever, done, but we've had other coaches, black coaches before him who have done really good things, at other programs too. So I look forward to it continuing on. And for me, I look forward to there being more Black coaches who can mentor kids like my son.
Absolutely.
Having when you're playing in a program and nobody's really looking like you, and then sometimes there's that one person that looks like you, and that's that receiver coach, or that why
Right.
the running back coach that is always coming to convince you to come, but then when you get there, you know who the head guy is, right? And sometimes what that person said wasn't always what it's going to be when you get back, and the head dude is saying, what he wants and how he sees it. So I'm looking forward to that too.
I tell you what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking to see the whole culture change because the football players is pretty much what 99.999 black, and how
Uh-huh.
many black we have? Oh, none. Imagine
Mhm.
that. I'm looking for a change where it's just not like a slave drive where you have the other persuasion putting our black men up on the pedestals and they're measuring them, they're touching them, they're how much muscle. It's just like the slave drive. That's what they did with the slaves and checking their teeth, doing. I mean, it's the same thing. It's just modern day slavery, in my opinion. So I'm looking to the day where this thing flips and we have some black owners. Why? How come we don't have any black NFL owners? Why not?
That part. I mean, it's definitely it's opening up. I'm so very happy for like Magic Johnson, and then look at his program. Look at, people, you know, folks was not happy with the Washington, the Chiefs, the Redskins, I'm sorry. And then, now the Commanders are doing the daggone thing. They got a young black quarterback and they got a black owner, part owner. So, I mean, I think the sky is the limit. It's just a matter of people getting the opportunity, like you said, and then definitely supporting each other, and then showing up. Because if you don't give a person a chance, how are you going to know just how great they can be? That's one of the reasons why I'm so excited to see how well, Jaden Daniels, has done. I mean, he's done incredible things for a program that was really not looking good, for quite some time. So, it's a beautiful thing. But I got to ask you, were there any other players that we outside of the three or four or five that we all know about and hear about, were there any other players that really stood out to you? How about some of those, defensive boys, those big boys? What were they
So
looking?
my favorites is Shadozi. He's number 97. I like Shadozi. He works really hard. He has a family. I think he has one child. I think it's just one daughter that he has. So they showed him training and different things like that. They call him the block bully. He's been working really, really hard. I'm
Uh,
hoping to see him make it. He did his jump. I put down how much Shadozi did. Oh, he did really good with his bench press. He did 30 because that's the mark is to do 30. So he
uh-huh.
knocked easy work. So he did really good there. And then with his
Nice.
jumping, he did like 8.6, which is really good for his size and everything. So
Okay.
he's a hard worker. He's a team player. He gets up. He does all that off the clock time training. From sun up to sundown, and he has really put the work in. So I'm excited for him. I'm really hoping that he gets some good looks and he gets recruited as well. And also
Right.
Cam. Cam is another good player, number 7. He's been with
Uh-huh.
Shador in high school. It was like his best friend in high school. So Coach Deion brought him up from high school and then brought him on, where he is now in Colorado. And I think he went to Jackson as well. So he's a
Okay.
beast out there
Is
as
this the kid
my.
whose father's in prison?
No, that's Jimmy Horn Jr.
Okay, okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, because
Yeah,
they
Jimmy.
played together too, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
As kids. Okay. Nice.
Yes, Jimmy, he's a beast. He's a beast, and
Yeah.
it's just so good to see how Coach Prime took him under his wing with his dad being incarcerated. And he like we walked him in on senior day and things like that. And
Yeah.
his father, I don't know if you saw it on the internet. He Coach Deion posted a letter that his dad had wrote to him, thanking him for
Uh-huh.
taking while he's away. And pretty much,
Nice.
Coach Deion is a man of his word. He said that you let your son come play for me, I got you. I got him. He's covered from one Florida boy to another. That's exactly what he did. He covered him. He didn't leave
Love.
him out there. He was good. And, that's the thing that I like about him. He's not a selfish person. Even when you
Mhm.
talk to the coaches, like if you speak to like a Vic, he says how he can pick up the phone, he can call Coach Prime, and he doesn't hold on to the blueprint of it. He tells them, "Well, man, do this and do." He's leading them, he's guiding because he's already gone that way. He's gone through that door, so he reaches back and helps up the next person. He's just not all about, even though people try and say because of his persona, he's all about me, 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 but he really isn't. All the videos that I see and all the mentors and all the Hall of Famers that are around him always say one
Mhm.
thing about him, reaches back and helps. You know,
Mhm.
I'm
Love
telling
it.
you right. If I was a multimillionaire, the last thing I would be doing is get up at 4 o'clock, going down to some whole place like Colorado where it's snowing at, getting there, getting ready, for these boys to come in having this long day with my foot amputated, 2 of my toes cut off. That's a lot. I tell you what I would be doing. I'd be spending my millions of dollars flying around some island having a great old time. So just the mere fact that he's doing, he don't have to do that.
Yeah, but
Time
this is
served.
a passion. This is a passion for him, Vanita. So we got a lot of people that have money and they don't have to do the things that they do, but when this is a passion, which you can see, and that's what he's always said, that he's
Oh my
about
God.
making boys better.
Yeah, he's called. He says and I believe that he's a prophet of God. He's called by God, and people don't understand that too. When he gives him his marching order, he's obedient. He does what God tells him to do. That's a lot of time and dedication to give your time out to. I'm just saying, me personally, if
Hmm.
I was a multimillionaire, you would not find me up at 4 o'clock in the morning doing the other side. I'm going. I mean, he going and run off into the sunset and stuff. So that's
But
a
guess
very
guess what
unselfish.
this got him? It got him another $50 million in his pocket though, and some more money on top of that.
Well, he's not the highest 54 million as he should because
you
that don't even
know,
tell the amount of money he's brought into that town. It was like over 900 million business
absolutely.
all around. So guess what? 54 million is a drop in the bucket. And it
Absolutely.
could
So he's getting a
jail.
little something, he's getting a chance to mentor. And what I do like about the program, I mean, it was kind of tough seeing them come in, with the Louis Vuitton luggage, and then the Samsonite can leave, but What I do like is that he's running that program like it's the pre NFL. And I mean, college is
That,
always supposed to be that opportunity to develop, right? But he's taking it to the 10th power. He's doing the Deion. He ain't doing it like, mildly right here. He's taking it to a whole nother level. And so, for those guys, although there can only be a certain number of kids on the field at one time, he's still just being in the midst of that program and the training and being around all of those other former pro athletes and Hall of Famers and all of that. It's just it's something that if you can't pick up from there, you know what I mean, and get those nuggets and propel yourself to where you want to be, it might be a little hard to do it, somewhere else. Um, because I mean, he's putting so much on the table, for those kids to be able to take advantage of. And that's not to take away from other programs because, he came from a school that didn't have all that he's got, and he's able to, help those kids with right now. And so did many other, Michael Irving, all of those, they didn't have all this stuff that these kids have nowadays, and they made it. But it's a new day, and even with the kids that are there, this is a business for them, so I
yeah.
see a lot of kids that are coming there because it is a true business decision, not just because I want to go to school, and
Well,
I
that's
want to play football.
he teaches that to them. He lets them know that only out of the 100%, 95 of you guys are not going to go to the NFL. It's only 5%. So with that
Mm,
95, he pours in a lot of time and opens up opportunities for them to be able to make it as businessmen. Because what he's doing is he's raising, changing boys to men where they could be providers for their families. Everybody's not going to be an NFL player. Everybody's not going to make it on the field. He doesn't sell a dream. He keeps it real and lets them know. And he asks them what their passions are. Like some want to sell real estate, some want to go do podcasts, whatever it is. If you go to him and you tell him what your interest is, because he got all kind of connections, he makes it happen for them. So he's pouring into them so that they can be successful in other ways on and off the field. So he knows it's more than just football for him, and that's one thing that I like about it.
okay. So I have a question for you because I know how much you do love Dion. Is there anything that you can see, because you've been watching, the pre-college coaching days and all of that. Is there anything that you could see or you'd like to see at the program, going forward, like next year? I mean, any room for improvement or what? What do you
I think
see that you would like
he's such
to see?
a forward thinker. He's an innovator. He's a way maker. So he does thing that I like about him is that he's such an independent thinker and he thinks outside of the box. He doesn't mind coming outside the lines. So he has
Mhm.
a way of stretching your mind and stretching your imagination into things that you never really even think of. Because the thing I like about him, he doesn't come in and do it the traditional way. And I was watching a clip about when you were talking about the Louis Vuitton luggage and how everybody was upset about that. But it was a
Mhm.
really nice breakdown where a reporter was going to use that as clickbait and try and get him out of character and be upset with the things that they were accusing him of. But he used it as a teaching moment and also passed it over to his boys. It's all in how you take things as a teaching lesson. What he said, because he didn't come in and do it the traditional way and slowly but surely weed out the boys little at a time, little time, it was like that's not his way. He's like, I'm coming in. This is what it is. This is what is expected of you. Anybody that want to step up to the plate and go for it, fine. But there's no way I'm making this change and coming all over here as business as usual. So if those boys were really, you got, like he said, you got to love the game. You can't just like the game, because football you got to love it because it's a brutal game. It's like slamming two trains into each other 6 and 7 hours a day on the field in the hot
Mhm.
sun. I mean, your body, it takes a lot. So you got to, this is something you got to love. So you can't come in kind of sort of liking it. Like, it's no place in football for like, and he makes that very clear. So I like the fact that he brings that reality to the young men, and he kept it real with them. Anybody who wanted to stay, and some did stay and want to step up to the plate, but there's no way he was going to come in to change the program. I'm going to keep the same luggage that we had, because if the luggage that we had could do it, the job would have been done. and they wouldn't have had to call him in. So
But now, okay, so you and I sometimes we do have different opinions on that. I can't put it all on the boys. And I've been sitting right there at programs with my son playing, and I've seen the better players not even on the field at different programs.
absolutely,
And so it
Ab-
ain't just the boys that were there. And I know a couple of them
no,
personally
no,
who are
not on,
doing the damn
not
thing where they are. It was
right,
part of the boys and the coaching
and the
staff.
coach,
Whole
right.
culture over there was, maybe not what it needed to be. So he brought something
Was
completely different.
absolutely, but what I'm saying is the
Mhm,
opportunity was still there. Like the boys that were dogs and beasts and wanted to step up to the plate, and that was their passion, and love. They could have stayed there, and some did, and went for the challenge because that was their passion, and he gave them that opportunity. But he wasn't
right.
going to come in the same way, because if he was going to come in and run it the same way it's been ran, what's the point? It wouldn't be able to move and make the change that needs to be made. So I definitely don't blame it on just the boys that were there, but there's some that didn't have a passion, and that's fine. It ain't for everybody, and that's okay. But the ones that have a true passion, and this is really what you want to do for a living, like they say, if you do something that you like, you never work a day in your life, right? But if that's really not you, then that's okay too. Nobody's mad at that. But I like the way that he came in and set the bar up here. Like, we're not coming in here and we're not tippy toeing. And I like the fact
Hmm.
that he's strong and he's bold and he's unapologetic. And
Hmm.
a lot of people not used to that. They want the black men, especially, to be quiet, meek mouth, tippy toe around everything. Please, you think it'd be okay? No, he kicks the door in. He don't open it. He kicks the door in, and when he kicks the door in, it leaves room for other people to come in behind him, also be able to achieve different things.
That's
But
true.
there's nobody perfect. God says there's none perfect but Him. So He's not a God. I don't think anybody's worshiping as a God, and He's a godly man. But He would never take God's credit or glory for anything like that, anyways. But there's always room for improvement, room for changes. And the thing I like about it, he's constantly thinking, it constantly changes. It's nothing. It's like, I don't like when a coach can't pivot. If something's not working, don't cut off your nose and spite your face. If you keep giving the running back the ball and you're saying the same play, not going to where you think you may want to change the play, but he's not too cocky. Like, I said we're going to this way and this is the only way. I don't care if we lose it. He's not like that. He tweaks it.
Right.
They do it all the time.
Right.
They make right, and I think you got to be like that to be able to be successful in this type of business. But he has raised the bar. I don't think college football is going to ever go back to being what it was before.
Oh no. Oh no.
Everybody's elevating.
And I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, that's down the line, but Colorado, I mean, he's got some tremendous, he got a giant sinkhole for somebody to come back in and follow because that's just not going to work. I I know some folks that were down with Colorado and went to Colorado and love Colorado, but they were just so like, man, we need help. And now, like I said, it's going to be hard, for somebody to come in after him and keep that the way it is. And the other thing too is he had he came in being a powerhouse leader, but he also had a very specific agenda. And some other coaches will come in and they will look at what they got and then they try to figure it out. Well, Deion came in, he wasn't even interested in what he had. He brought what he wanted. Like you said, the luggage. So he brought his son, and it was clear my son is a quarterback, right? So he already knew he had that, the way that he envisioned it. And then Shiloh's safety and Travis, which it was the everything man. And so he had a different vision and he started out differently. He came in with guns and was like, okay, well, I'm just going to add to these guns. Whereas you do have some programs where coaches come in and they don't have any children on the team, they don't know anybody there, but they just decided, they took the job and they came in to either make this program great or just at least to do the very best that they can, and or a program was already great and they had to come in and they had to step their game up. So he had a whole different mentality. He came in with a whole different um arsenal in a sense. So the good thing is that he's got kids that are coming into the school that now, if they're able to keep the momentum, you're going to keep getting all of these 4 or 5 star kids that are coming in. So whoever comes in after him, they they're already working with something that's winning. So all they have to do is try to keep it going, but it's not going to be easy because it's just nobody's like Dion. You know what I mean? You know.
I think what he's gonna do, because he's on contract with him, I think it's the next 5 years or so, is that he's
Okay.
a very person, and the men that he puts around him, his coaching staff that he puts around him, he doesn't hide secrets. He shares the knowledge with them. He's all about promotion. Like there's a lot of coaches that he brought up from Mississippi, Jackson, whatever, that have gone on to other schools now. He's not bitter and salty about it because he said that's what he expects them to elevate, be promoted, and move on. So he's not a selfish man in that way. And I think he's going to share the knowledge. I think he's going to make sure he has somebody that's going to be able to take his place, that's going to be right by his side. He's going to be training them up where he's not going to just leave them just empty like that. I think it's going to be somebody that's going to be running the program with him. And like you said, once he gets up to a certain level, because now nobody's ever used the portal the way that Deion Sanders has used the portal, but now other schools are catching on how he uses the portal and how he gets these 5-star recruits in and different things like that. So I think it's going to be somebody there to follow the blueprint. There's only one Deion, there's only one Vanita, there's only one Nina. But I think when it's time for him to go on, it's going to be the boat and the wheels will already be well oiled and moving in such a direction that it's nothing but up from here, is what I think is going to
Right.
happen. He's not selfish. Another thing with him, when you take Travis Hunter, right? Everybody laughed at Travis. Everybody was mad at Travis. Everybody called his mother stupid, his parents dumb for allowing him to turn down those 5-star schools, those big ranking schools, to go to
Mm,
Jackson. But he went to
mm,
Jackson because he wanted to go and play for a coach that did what Deion already did what Travis wanted to do, but Travis is on a whole nother level, which Deion tells you that when
right.
they try and compare the two, he tells you it's not about me. I've been there, I've done my thing, but this boy is phenomenal. Like he doesn't take that away. And some men are insecure where they wouldn't want another star to come because they're like, well, I want to hold on to this record. I want to be the only one that play two-way and not really give him the opportunity and ability. But because he's unselfish and not jealous and is insecure in who he was able to let this man develop into who he is. And that's how he got that opportunity. Had he gone anywhere else, I don't think it would have happened.
I don't think so. I don't think he would have been able to play in that very way. Um, wow. And what a statement, because he comes in and he is a phenomenal, like one of a kind player and student at the same time. You know what I
I mean,
mean? And you
an
just you
A
just find that and person, such a great person
he
to
really.
me. Yes. Did you see his girl out there? Travis's girl
They
out there?
did show her. They didn't really talk to her or anything like that, but she was out. They were taking a picture with someone. So yeah, one of the videos. I don't remember whose video it was for them. I did see her.
So
But
where do you think he's listening to his coach on his
I think
future?
I think Coach Deion Sanders is a man of integrity. I think he has good common sense. I think that he hasn't withheld anything as far as wisdom to pour into him. See him win. So I think he has
Mhm.
told him this thing called life and the rules of this thing called life because he's been there and done that. I believe each wife he had to pay like $15 million each. So $15 million each, that's $30 million later. And as far as Pilar, if Deion Sanders was such a horrible husband to her, why does she still carry the last name? She would have separated herself from the name, went back to her maiden name, but it's still association, so it couldn't have been all that bad.
But you know
Because
what?
otherwise,
Mhm.
you
Go
know
ahead.
you like people that have fallen out with different family members, whatever. They have legally changed their names when they don't have
Right.
no association. So I'm just saying, if it's all that awful, because there's no reason for her to hold on to the name if it's that bad. It's like I don't want to even know you anymore. Like,
I think there are benefits to holding on to that name, and I don't know what they are, and I don't well, I mean, I
money.
don't say that I don't know what they are. I don't know how important it is to her, but it obviously is, and I don't know that I would change my name, because if you had this name, changing the name ain't gonna change what he did to or whatever your troubles were with him, but you just going to change it. She's not married, so it's not like she's like, okay, well, I'm trying to hurry up and get married to somebody. I don't know, because you look at the other thing, I was at, like, the other night I was at Niecy Nash's birthday party, and saw somebody that I've been wanting to talk to for a minute, Tracy Emmons. I was trying
Mm.
to figure out to myself, like, how come still has Edmonds, and she was, what, wasn't she engaged, or were they going to get engaged?
So they
So
were
she, but
engaged.
she carried Edmonds. Not that he, I mean, I don't know what their relationship, but a lot of people keep the name, and yes, there is something to that. There's a little kickback. There's a little benefit
Oh,
to that.
absolutely. I mean, yes, R. Kelly's wife kept his name.
Oh
A lot of them
yes,
do keep.
she
So,
did. But you know what I
I'm
have
just
Pilar credit for? Well, first of all, she's very present, and people don't speak about her, and I understand because she's not in the limelight, but she's still very present in those kids' lives, and I'm glad to see that, and I'm glad to see that the kids don't ever seem to um talk about her being a terrible mom or anything like that. So, to me, I feel like whatever it was that, she and Deion went through, it was kind of, within their little mix. But, it seems like it didn't bleed over to the kids in the way that it can sometimes, where the kids don't want to be bothered at all. I appreciated the fact that the kids were trying to get both of their parents to come out on the field on senior day, and she didn't seem to object to it. She was out there. And I like the fact that she's not shying away, because sometimes when you are in a relationship with somebody that is just so larger than life, and you are not that person, a lot of times you become irrelevant, because everybody, they love what they love, and you don't mean that much. But I appreciate the fact that she's still there. She comes to the game, she sits in the stands, she cheers those kids on, and she's not going to be denied the opportunity to be their mom. And she's not, I guess when people talk about her, and I don't even read all of that, and I don't know all the particulars, but just kind of what I gathered, she doesn't let all of that like define who she is, and it doesn't bother her. And like you even said when we were talking to Xavier Worthy's mom, Nikki Jones, you were saying that's your baby. You birthed that baby. You carried that baby in your stomach for 9 months, and when daddy was wherever daddy was, in their case, she was a single mom, but in Pilar's case, she had 3 4 young kids. And I don't think that it was Deion that was nursing them. I don't think it was Deion that was sitting there putting them to bed at night and playing football tomorrow or flying back in or whatever. So she's put her time in. So I'm really happy for her, because this is a hell of a time for her as a mother to have 2 boys that are going into the
Mhm.
NFL and who've done phenomenally. So I
But
appreciate that about her.
the thing I like about Deanna, and you can see old footage of that on their reality show, is that he
Mhm.
encouraged his kids to love their mother. That's their mother. Whatever happens between a husband and wife is a husband and wife's business. But the
As it
kids, that
should.
has nothing,
As it
because they
should.
showed when the door came home, he was really, and his dad knew something was bothering him. He told him,
Right.
son, you can love your, you love both of us. That's your mother, love your mother. I'm your father, love me as your father. But the two, you don't have to not love me in order to love her, or not love her in order to love me. We're both. So he encouraged that. I don't think he ever tried to really set them against her or whatever. So
No, like,
she
couldn't stand
should
next
be.
to her on the field on senior day, but it's all good. Everybody has to make their choices, but I see the both. I don't see life. I don't see it in just these rosy glasses. I see, like you just said, he encouraged them, but then I saw how the boys said that trying to get both of their parents on that field at the same time was World War II, was like that. And then the only person that I saw dash off, when they all came together, was him. So again, I ain't in that room, and I don't know what it is, but I see 2 different things happening, and I like to look at both of them. I'm not biased, and I just feel like she seems to just be present. And I remember when she got on Instagram when her daughter was going to this other school to play basketball. And whatever was said about her not being present, and or whatever the case may be, or him being present, I don't know what was said. But she was like, don't make me have to go into all of the personal stuff about, being present or not being present. And I still don't think I don't know what all she said, but I still don't think that she goes there where she could go. You know, like some people paint her as this terrible person, and you know how she tried to do this and do that to him and whatever the case may be. But I still, you know, to me she seems decent. Like she comes, she there's no drama on the field, on the sidelines, and in the stands and whatever. And she's there with her daughter, because you can't be both places at one time, right? So just imagine, well, her daughter's playing basketball. Who's sitting on the sidelines with her daughter? Who's pumping her up, telling her, you know, honey, love you, got you, I'm here at your games, you know, whatever the case may be. Her mother is doing that, and her father is showing love for her too. But I mean, it's obvious, you know, there's space over here and there's space over there, and Deion is committed, you know, over here to football, and his time just isn't there. So I appreciate her, and hopefully I would love to have her come on and just talk about her perspective as a mom, because like I said, those boys making it to the NFL, both of them are responsible for that. You know, like somebody got to coach and mentor and all of that, show you how to be a man. But there is that other side. Somebody's got to love you, somebody's got to be there, you know, be mom. So I love
I
that
mean,
about her.
I think she's played her role as mom, and her sons adore her. They gift her quite a bit of different things and all that kind of stuff. So I think they have a regular, mother son relationship and a father son relationship. But I don't think that Deion owes her anything as far as um, having a united front because his kids are grown now. I think if they want both their parents there, which they both said they do. Even on pro day for drafting day, Shador just said it the other day that he just wants both his parents to be there. And she was there at the pro day there, so I'm sure at the NFL draft because they're going to do it at Colorado. I'm
Yeah.
sure she'll be there as well. But
Oh yeah.
whatever happened between a husband and wife, that's their thing. But I think they're both the parent. They both should have a right to love their kids where they want. But do they have to be a united front? Not at this point. I don't think so.
Yeah, no, they don't have to. But you know, we all do things just for the you know, just for the sake of it or the aesthetic of it or whatever. But yeah, I never am one to tell people how people need to act. But I mean, people's actions do say a lot. So, you know, sometimes if you say you say I don't drink alcohol, you know, because, you know, I'm a man or a woman of, you know, this, that, and the other thing. But then I do have a little wine sometimes. Well, it's still alcohol. So I'm just saying Dion is amazing. He's done great things as a family man. And like you said, he doesn't have to stand there and just be in a family photo, or he doesn't just have to be in her presence. It's totally his prerogative. But, you know, so I just see where people just seem to tear her apart, and she just doesn't seem, you know, whenever I've seen her on camera or even like the at the pro day, like she just was back there and she just, you know, had the little video and she was showing how much of a proud day it was for her. And I feel like she doesn't bring drama, which is good. And I feel that she's just very deserving of celebrating this day, you know, just as much as Dion and anybody else, because those are her babies. Those are
Yeah,
her
I mean,
babies.
I don't think anybody, at least on my end that I've seen, nobody's keeping her from doing it because she is the mother. But these
Right.
boys take care of her. I mean, she's gifted down. She's driving one of those Tesla ugly big old trucks, whatever they call those ugly things, and
As she
she's
should,
got the
'cause
diamonds
mom got a new
on it.
home and all that. She should have it
Yeah,
all. Said every
I
bit
mean,
of
she
it.
got one down, so you got yours
Yeah.
already, ma'am. Miss
Yeah.
Ma'am.
And she be getting some more. As long as they keep money, making money, no reason why she shouldn't keep getting more, you know? And like you said,
She just
now you got
got
Dion is a millionaire and the boys bought him a house. So I can't see too many reasons why they wouldn't want to buy their mama anything, because the mama isn't a
what's
millionaire that I know of.
her she's getting her part too. They're
Yeah.
taking very good
And
care
she
of her. So
should.
I don't
You said
holiday.
she
So
got yours,
I'd be
ma'am.
happy too. Though she birthed them, nobody can take that from her. But I
Oh,
don't
that's
think
right.
Dion has to do anything differently because the divorce is divorce. I don't think he wishes her no ill. anything. She doesn't seem like she does with him either. They made a family together, but those kids are all grown now. It's gonna be the same thing if these boys grow up. God forbid they ever get married and end up getting a divorce, and he'd be like, "Well, that's the mother of my grandbabies. I want her here too at Thanksgiving." Maybe not. You just don't know till you know till you in those shoes, those moccasins. So whatever
That's
really happened
right.
between them, I don't really know, but I don't think it has any bearing as far as her being their mother or not being their mother. I think they show her love. I think she shows them love.
Yeah.
I don't know if her mothering or whatever. I've seen cute videos where she came to town to Colorado, and Shiloh was being honored for acai bowl. They named it after him, and he took it there and they showed the video with how they made it and what goes in and this and that. It was cute.
Right.
So have a
Yeah.
regular son and mother relationship. I don't think Deion is blocking that. To me, they all seem to be very happy.
Hmm.
Appears to be.
Hmm. Yeah, that's true. So since Travis he didn't participate, there wasn't a whole lot on Travis, but I guess like you were saying, do does there need to be? Because he's already proven everything that he's needed to, prove. But I'm trying to think of what I feel like there was some guy that went to Heisman and then went and played in one of the bowl games or something crazy. I can't remember what that is, but I like the fact that the kids now don't feel under any pressure to do things where they might be harmful, to them. I mean, some
He
people
did
have
play in the bowl game. Travis
huh?
did play in the bowl game, and Travis did play in the bowl game, and he did perform out there on the field with the other receivers. But as far as doing all these other things that they have to do to be a top contender, I mean, if I'm the Heisman, what more you want out of me? If you don't know
Right.
what I could do at this point in all the film you got on me, and I'm the Heisman, I don't know what to tell you because that's what pro day and the combine is all about. You know,
Yeah. So what team do you think Travis is going to go to? Or where would you like to see him play?
Geez, he wanted to be in. He said that he wouldn't mind playing for the Broncos since he like
Yeah.
Colorado. He wouldn't mind staying in Colorado, but I know they're way down the list. But I think I just have a funny feeling. I don't know if there's any team really out there that's going to allow him to play both sides of the ball the way that he wants to. So far, the way it's looking, I'm not hearing that. They don't think it can be done, but you can't really put your limitations on somebody else. I would say afford him the opportunity, and if it doesn't work out, then okay, then you got to pick a side of which side of the ball you want to play on. But I just don't know if anybody is really that bold enough and forward thinking to be outside of the box and try it out, give him a try, let him be the first one to try it in the NFL. So we'll see. So because of that, I'm not really excited for him with that because I don't think he's going to get what he wants.
Okay. But it's a new day and a lot of things are happening, that didn't happen before. So, somebody might give him that shot and just kind of
Yeah,
see what
so I'm hoping
happens.
somebody enough to be like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. We've never done it before, but there's a first time for everything. Let's see what.
Yeah. And he seems like the kind of kid, and I'm sure he said it, wherever you need me, that's where I'm going to be. Like I'm sure
Right.
he appreciated having the opportunity, with which coach with Deion Sanders, to play both sides. But I'm sure, he's like at this point, if I make it to the league, as long as you put me somewhere where I know I can make a difference, I think he's going to be
This guy,
happy.
he loves the game. He don't do nothing but play football, fish, and video games and study film. He don't
I
do
was getting ready to
nothing
say
else.
a video game.
Yeah, he loves, loves, loves the game. He really does. So I'm
Yeah,
hoping that it works
yeah,
that he gets a team that can appreciate his skills and take a chance on, letting him play both sides of the ball and see what happens. You
right.
don't know
So
till you know.
that's true. So since you do watch a lot of the camp and training stuff and preseason and all of that, what do you think about the new quarterback? Is it Juju that's standing out right now? Like, that they're thinking he's going to be the guy, the number one guy?
I'm thinking because Juju left high school early. The way I'm thinking it's gonna probably work because the other
Mm.
guy's a senior. I'm thinking the other guy is gonna probably ride it out and be the starting quarterback this season, and then
Okay.
Juju is training closely where he'll be ready to step in and then take it over from there where nobody really loses. And I think going in that they've talked to both parents, and I think everybody's aware of what it is and what they
Uh-huh.
stand to lose again. And I don't even know if he'll redshirt it, probably not, but I don't think Juju will lose anything if he's not the starting quarterback this particular season going out because he is. Another guy is very, 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 very good. Very, very
Yeah.
good.
And I do
Juju,
believe. Mhm.
the other guy, he's older and more experienced, of course. He's played college football already, and like I said, Juju left high school early, so it's gonna be interesting. It looks to me like they may go with the other guy as far as the
Okay.
starting quarterback, but it's still up in the air. But that's what it looks like to me.
And I know
And I don't think
everybody wants to get out there and play right away, but learning and knowing what I know, I feel like it's okay. Take your time, get stronger, know the game, learn the plays, and hopefully you're in a program that is going to give you that opportunity, uh, you know, at some point, where you're not there wasting your time. And obviously, this is not that,
right.
but it's okay to take a minute and figure things out because you know you rush, you get hurt, possibly you go through all kinds of stuff, and why not? And guess what? That kid, I'm sure he's making all kinds of money right now. Is there any need to really rush right about now? In my
You could
opinion.
tell by his demeanor, there's no kind of animosity or anything like that. Like he's out there, he's playing with the ones and the twos. They all practicing on the field. Putting a lot of
Uh-huh.
work in and everything. But you could tell that they've had an in-depth conversation with both set of parents, and I think everybody is well aware of what's going on. Nobody's got the wool pull over their eyes, and nobody
Right,
was so tight dream, and then all of a sudden now you switch up on it. I think they know exactly what it is, what they're going
right.
into, and that is any game. But but it wouldn't be a bad look for Juju not to start this year, like you said, because he's young. The other
Mhm.
guy, he's got one more year left, and he's very, very good. He's very, very good. But Juju's very good too. But I think you know they still are competing, but I'm thinking it may go that way though. The other guy may be the actual starting. I mean, he's very good.
Right. And then the other thing is, I mean, at least, you might want to play another year in or high school, but I think this is good because he's going to be in a place where he's going to be learning everything that there is to learn, and he's training, and it's only going to give you a head start. That's just like coming in the spring. I mean, you want to get ahead of the game. So he's
Right.
definitely going to have a head start just being there, being in the mix, you
I mean, you got
know?
all these Hall of Fame on you. You got
Yeah.
all these NFL players. I mean, the staff is unbelievable as far as their exposure and the things that they're learning. And I mean, they're like these guys that were like number one in their positions. They're taking those skill sets and actually pouring it into those young men on the field every single day in their different positions.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win. And he's running like as a small NFL program already.
Which is incredible. And now he's got Marshall Falk over there now. Marshall Falk
Uh,
over there as a running back coach,
mhm.
right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
He's just adding on, and it's really interesting. It's really interesting to see. It reminds me, it reminds me a little bit of like back in the Calabasas Raider days. You'd have all these different, Marshall Falks rather, I can't say it. His son played, and so you see him on the sideline, and then you had Isaiah Hayes, his dad, was it played for the Jets and NFL, his dad. And so you had all of these kids, whose dads played in the NFL, and they were on the sideline, assistant coaching or just, giving their input. And it reminds me of that kind of vibe. It's like you never knew who was gonna walk up on field, Terrell
Right.
Owens, this one and that one. It was just always there. And sometimes they pull the kids aside, and sometimes they'd be telling Theo, okay, run it like this or do it like that. And so it's got to be great. I know Michelle Watson, whose son, plays over there at Colorado, which, thanks Michelle for the jersey.
Love it. Prime
Shout out.
time, baby. Love it.
So I know, she said that it was like that over there, where it was just, you never know who's going to be there. And, you're always getting like those nuggets from, different people that are over just in the mix.
I mean, for me, I would have loved for my son to have had that type of opportunity to be around some coaches that would care about you, give you a chance, pour into you, teach you some things, just give you a chance basically, and want to see you succeed. Those young men, I think anybody that gets to be a part of that, whether you're the staff, whatever it is you come in at, you're being blessed all the way around because you're being exposed to so much and so much opportunity and so much growth and so much to learn. And, the sky's the limit. And
Hmm.
it's a yeah.
Hmm. So were
The
there any
fans
fun?
love you.
Uh-huh.
Somebody
Go
said
ahead.
it's a great place.
Yeah, for
It's a great
sure.
place.
Were there any funny moments, at the at Pro Day that you can think of? Because since we this is a Colorado Buffs Day.
Right, right. Everything. I mean, everything that I've seen, those boys are so well polished because they've been preparing hard for this day. And I mean, from when they finished the last bowl game, that was all about is getting these senior guys ready for this big day. So they were pretty much polished. The boys, they were joking around. They were very encouraging. The thing that I thought that was really cute, I had mentioned to you, is that Shador said that he wished they had videotaped Shiloh clapping for him every time he threw the ball. His brother was on the sideline clapping for him. Like, can you imagine every ball he threw, he was
Yeah,
clapping for his brother's support. So I thought that was just adorable.
yeah,
I'm surprised Bucky on video. He said if he could just shown that, even at this age and at this part of the game, and there's no
yeah.
animosity between the two. People trying to downplay Shiloh, but as his father said, Shiloh's his own man. He's not walking in the shadow of his brother. Their support team, a support
Mhm.
system amongst each other. And I like that they're siblings, but there's no rivalry as far as like, well, I'm the older brother. How come he getting all the shine or what have you? So it's
Hmm.
like everybody place in this whole
Yeah,
big old scheme.
and
Every
that's a
pepperoni
big.
place,
You say what? Every pepperoni? What now?
right? There's not one pepperoni more important than the other pepperoni. It all comes together to make it all taste good. So it's like, it's no big eye and little eye in this thing. It's like they're all there together to make this machine run smoothly. So I thought that
Right.
was, and one of the bigger guys, I can't remember his name now, but he was jumping. It was so funny. He was trying so hard. He was jumping pretty far, but because I didn't realize that, like, if you don't stick it and stand right there, if you go back, they don't count
Uh,
it. So you keep jumping. He was getting up
really
there though.
fell
Yeah, he was
back,
getting.
and so, uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
every time you fall back, they take that from you. You have to do it again.
mm, yeah,
You know, they were doing their bench pressing, like the whole team. Everybody's like pushing everybody and cheering for everybody. I didn't see any. It's a real brotherhood. Nobody was like jealous of each other. Nobody
hmm,
wanted out. Like, I want to do better. This was like everybody's like, when they did anything great. I mean, the whole team would just go crazy and just cheering you on and just, that's a good thing to see because there's so much jealousy in most
yeah.
cases. But
I think just from going to Theo's pro day, um when those boys play together like that as a team, they all want to see
mhm,
each other win. At that point, I don't think there is any real jealousy, and if there is, you put that aside because like you said, you're out there clapping when somebody is catching the ball, running a great route, throwing a great ball, and then having a great 40 time. They're all like really excited, even in the weight room, like when they're bench pressing and all of that. They're all around, clapping it up and yelling and encouraging each other. So it's I just think sometimes from the outside, like you said, people try to put people against each other, or just kind of
right,
this that one. Those boys have been there. They've become like teammates in a family, and if there is some jealousy, whatever, that's just on them. I've seen where sometimes, with my son, I'm just like, he's just so like, no, go ahead, and I'm like, he just wants to see the other brother win, and I guess he kind of feels like, he always felt like, I'm gonna do what I do, and I show, what I have to show. So, let somebody get up there and do their thing, and I'm gonna do my thing.
exactly.
But I think it's gonna be different though in the NFL because even on the same team, and I've heard just, from some young guys that, I know that have gone to the NFL. I hear them talking, sometimes with Theo, sometimes it's not that they don't want you to succeed, but it's a competition and they really do want to send your ass home so that they
Oh yeah.
can, you know what I mean? So I
So
think it's
that's
definitely gonna be different.
so definitely. I just had to plug my phone in here. Give me 1 minute here. See if I should turn my camera. I don't even know where the thing is. Oh, hold on one second.
Hey. Oh, wait. Okay.
Okay, now I probably got to readjust the phone. I mean
Yeah,
the.
because I don't. Okay.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
not too bad, is it?
No, it's not. Mm-mm. I was looking up Nathaniel Watson, Michelle's son, and he's a safety. So, I remember that. We had talked about, him being a safety, redshirting, and then, the seniors that are leaving, opening up the door, for guys like him to come in and play. And this year is going to bring about new things. Have you seen him in the like the preseason stuff that
He's
you
number.
that
He's number 36.
Number
Is that the right
36.
number? Is he
Uh-huh.
36? Not so much yet, as far as I can see just yet. But if he definitely was a safety, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of opportunity opening up for him. So it's
Absolutely. Yeah.
good to see.
Yeah. So that's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
I'm very excited for her.
Yeah,
Can't wait to see
that's
the new episodes that are supposed to be being released too. I'm thinking he's
uh-huh.
going to be in those episodes more too. So I can't wait to see that.
Okay.
I'm all up in the business. all up.
Eh, that's good, because he dang, like they always say there's so many people that just don't like him or they don't like the program. They don't want to see kids succeed. They don't want to see the black man succeed. Um, so knowing that he's got his supporters uh is a good thing, but there are a lot of people. I was thinking about what you said about us supporting each other. I think the people that you I don't know, but I'm surprised at people that will take your neck off if you have anything negative, and it ain't even got to be bad negative. Just if you just ain't giving him kudos, people are on you. And black folks, speaking of black folks, really are behind Deion Sanders. They want to see him
If that
succeed.
says to be true, then I'm excited because
Hmm.
we've have a history and we've known to have crab mentality. So if we're
Right,
for once getting behind, I'm glad to hear it.
right.
I'm very because they do that to Mayweather. Like as good of a boxer as he is, they can't stand him, and I don't understand why.
Hmm.
It's like
But
any
we talked about it before. Sometimes it's personality. Some people just it's like I heard Dion say, uh, don't let my confidence whatever your insecurity, offend your insecurity. I don't think that everybody that doesn't flow like you flow, or maybe that isn't feeling how you do this, whatever it is, one thing or the other, or all of it. I don't think that that means that people are insecure. I just think, like you said, that there are different people who like different things. And so, because somebody may not care for something the way that you do it, doesn't mean that people, I don't think, don't want you to succeed. And I don't think that it means that people are insecure. I think it's just that it's not their cup of tea, and it's okay for it not to be their cup of tea, because for the people that love something, they can't be so um just stuck on what they see, that they can't understand the people that don't love it. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. People that don't love it, you can't be all harsh on somebody because they do love it. I'm a big fan of that. It's okay for people to think differently. It really is okay. But, I don't need for somebody to try to convince me that there's something wrong with my way of thinking because I don't think like them. We see that with politics. You don't like Trump, and so something's wrong with you. You don't like Biden, something's wrong with you. I mean, we've always been, in my opinion, people, and that was supposed to be the great thing about this country. You could choose to like it or not, and you still should be respected for that.
Oh, definitely. I think when it comes to us, especially our black men, it's like Kendrick Lamar said when he did that phenomenal Super Bowl performance that people were very upset about. And he said, "Sometimes you got to pop out and show them. Sometimes you have to." And when Samuel Jackson was talking, he pretty much said, like, "Come on now, keep it quiet. Don't do too much. Just come on, stay compliant, be compliant." People, for to me, in my opinion, I think people get very uncomfortable with a confident, bold black man. They want you to be compliant. They want you to just go status quo. Don't color outside of the lines. Just obey. Just nod your head and be a yes man. Don't dare buck up against the system. Don't dare speak out. Don't dare do it the untraditional way, the way that they're used to seeing it. And once you're different, if everybody wears blue all the time and here you come wearing silver, oh my God, what is he doing? People don't like that. It makes other people, to me, that are not as confident, it makes them nervous. Because Deion was saying that, he says, I don't feel pressure, I apply pressure. So just because I'm confident, don't make my confidence make you feel uncomfortable. Now, that's your thing, but it's not gonna make me feel insecure because you don't like what I do or what I am. And I think that as far as like, I'm very protective of black men because my daddy was a black man, my son is a black man, my husband is a black man. So I'm very protective because I just know to me, they have such a hard way to go. Just like the black woman, they say the black woman is the most unprotected woman as far as all the other women because we cry tears. They be like, girl, we ain't even gonna give you a tissue. Just wipe your face with your sleeve and keep going. That's how they act with us. But anybody else cry, oh my God. So I
Right.
just feel to me, in my opinion, like Samuel Jackson made it very clear. He was like, said, okay, Kendra, are you really about to do it? Oh no, are you really about to do it? Because it's like, oh no, are you really about to speak out? Are you really about to do something they're not used to? They don't like it. Makes people very uncomfortable. They want you to just hush
Right.
up, be a good little black man, keep your mouth shut, and just go on with what we tell you to do, and that's it. Don't have a mind of your own. Don't have opinions of your own. Don't do it your way. Do it the way we've always done it. I don't care if it don't work. Do the way we've always done it, and that makes people very happy. I think, in
Mm,
my opinion.
mm. Okay.
Sometimes you gotta pop out and show them though. Sometimes you got to. You
That's
just got
true.
to.
That's true. And then I do believe that, when you're strong and you carry yourself in that way, um, you have to continue that path, right? Because you can't come out and then just be like, okay, well, don't say nothing about me, because that's not reality. People are always, anytime you have that strong presence rather, they're gonna come at you. So you have to just take it, and like you said, pop out and show whatever it is that you feel like you need to show. um but you know I feel you. I've had people make comments to me about black men not doing this and not behaving a certain way and whatever. And I was raised by a black man, you know what I mean? Married a black man, have a black son, who I raised, and I am comfortable with, the way that I raised my son. I'm comfortable with the way that my father was. My father wasn't these stereotypes, that people try to paint him as, nor was the man that I married. So, for me, we don't need for people to try to tell us, who we are and how we should be, or those people that don't really know us like that, or just want to lump us up into one, because we're not just one people, just like some people say, oh, well, you don't really talk like,
Right,
like
right.
well, or you don't look like the other people, or you, whatever the case may be. What is that? What is that?
See, and if you notice, most people love our black athletes. They don't really consider them as being black because they're athletes. So, like, you'll love a Michael Jordan and a Kobe Bryant because they're not really black. You understand what I mean? Because we're up for their entertainment. As long as we stay there, fine. But how you dare you get out of line and go against the grain, then all of a sudden now you're a troublesome somebody. Now you're a problem. My father was a Leo man, a black man, a very strong man, a very outspoken man, very unapologetic, and that's what I like.
Mm,
That's that's
yeah.
what I like to see. Man, be a leader, be unapologetic, and you don't have to be nobody's puppet on nobody's string, and you don't have to
Mhm,
tip walking on eggshells because it makes everybody else uncomfortable. I'm big,
mhm.
I'm black, I'm bold. Say it
What
loud. I'm black and I'm proud.
Yes, ma'am.
you know,
So, well, I'm so glad that those boys and men and, Deion Sanders and the coaches, that they had a successful pro day, because like you said, all eyes were on that program. But, not just them. I mean, that's what pro day is about. It's about all of those teams, and they were fortunate to have all the teams come out and see them. And so were some other programs that, had a strong presence. And that's what it's about, for them to come out, see what you got, and for you to show what you got. So I'm glad that everything went well. And it's just another, couple of weeks before we're going to see, dreams come true. And dreams come true, not just for the boys, but for the moms and the dads, that have sacrificed, and, who have just supported in tremendous ways. And so I'm really looking forward to that. It's funny how, for us, you and I being moms of, boys who played football and sports pretty much all their lives, it's like this moment, like we sit and we watch and we get teary eyed, because this means so much, to those families. And I'm just so, very proud of all of them. I know, like I said, a lot of focus is on a few kids, but you got a bunch of boys over there at Colorado and UCLA and SC, and all over the country, where this is going to be such a defining moment and a game changing experience for them and their family. So I'm really looking forward to that part, and just looking forward to what is to come, because so many of them will get an opportunity to not just play football at that next level, but to um, set a standard, and to actually inspire, and just kind of be that person that people look up to, and help others along, because everybody needs to, help others along. So I love that part.
definitely. I was reading an article a little bit ago, like earlier today. It was on Facebook where Shador Sanders was this young lady, 17-year-old young girl, was dying of cancer, and her
Mhm.
last wish is that she was a very big fan of Shador Sanders, wanted to meet him in person. So they had this
Uh-huh.
whole big program where he surprised her and showed up and took her a signed jersey, of course, and spent time with her. And shortly thereafter, she passed away. He said that he
Mm.
was just going to honor her legacy, you know,
Yeah,
honor her that way or whatever. So things like that is like, these kids are rich kids. They don't, sometimes people that are rich, sometimes they become inhumane. They don't really have time for, say, the common person or what your elements are, things like that. So I thought, by him being a young man to take time out of his day and to go visit her in person, I thought that was very kind and just to remain human, you know,
absolutely.
because they try
Absolutely.
and, they're humans,
Yeah,
good
for
humans,
sure. For
you
sure.
know.
For sure. Yeah,
So I
that's a beautiful thing. Um, that's one of the things that I really do, and I've enjoyed seeing over the last couple of years. Travis, just being so kind and giving. Deion Sanders going out and getting involved in the community, helping like the kid that was being bullied, at high school,
yeah,
nearby, and just doing things that make a difference in somebody else's life. Because like you said, when you're in your world, your bubble, you got your money, you live in the lifestyle, you don't always need to get involved, but you do need to get
right.
involved. Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
it's just good to see you back and do that. And they had an
Mhm.
episode of that when the young man and his parents came to the practice, the one who got bullied and everything, and how much love they showed him, all these little souvenirs and things that they gave him and had him out on the field and got to
Yeah,
call the huddle. Out of the time they go 1, 2, 3 huddle, family, family on three, family. So, all the kind of cute stuff like that. So I thought that was very kind. Even
that's
Shador was talking or Shallow was talking about it was after was it the I don't remember if it was the Colorado game, one of those big games they won, and he went up into the stands, and had to have security, behind whatever. But he went up in the stands with the fans and was signing autographs and signing little stuff, and just like spent a lot of time with them. And they were kind of asking why did he do that, right? And he was saying, well, he remember as a kid growing up and being on the sidelines, whatever, around his dad's superstars, and he said they were like superheroes to them, and for them just to
mhm,
talk to them, take time out was like such an experience that they never forget. So he said he want to be able to provide that same thing for somebody else that had a type of experience because it means a lot to a person. They'll never forget that. Well, man, Shiloh came up in the stands and he gave me a high five and he signed my shirt. Or we know things like so.
yeah,
Just being kind enough to want to create a memory for somebody other than yourself, I think is unselfish, especially as a young person.
yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So, Vanita, what else are we what else do we need to highlight? If it's not, what happened on Friday. What else? Anything else you wanna
But really, I
share?
mean, that was the big T right there. Was the pro day? I mean,
I know.
everybody was in Colorado. All eyes were on them. That was their day, and the type of show that they put on, and just the level of expertise that Coach Deion put on for them. I was told, well, not I was told personally, but I think I'm a virtual team muscle. Yeah, I was told um,
Right.
like a great GMs and everything. And just, really just everything first class. And they said everything that Coach Prime does, he elevates and does everything on top notch. And, just the way that he handled everything and just made it a nice experience for everybody, because people don't have to go out of their way to be nice to you and make things nice and a good experience and things like that. So I appreciate things like that as well.
Yeah, but they better go out of their way and do things nice. I mean, even if, because we know sometimes people do that in the very beginning, to get you to sign on to something. But, that's their job is to do nice things. They always host, they have a great pro day. They have the, um, you know, uh, recruiting, breakfasts and lunches and things like that, and it all looks beautiful, and it should be more than just that day. It should be ongoing,
Uh,
because you have young people and their lives, in your hands, and then the families too, because families make big sacrifices. Families move, they got younger kids, and a lot of times they make a lot of sacrifices for kids to go to different schools and attend certain programs and to try to get to the games and all of that. So,
right.
excuse me, they should.
But my night might not be somebody else's night. So it was just good to see that, they went above and beyond because my nice may be cupcakes, somebody else's nice may be Hanson cakes or what have you. It's always
Yeah, no, they don't do
them
they
just
don't do that.
very classy the way that they put it on and
Yeah. That's great. UCLA had a really, good pro day, or I'd say great pro day. I just say good. I wasn't in the mix, but I know one person, Charity Loves, who is Coach Foster's wife. She puts a lot. She's an influencer as well. So, when it comes to the setup, she tries to make sure that it is, bar none. And so, I know they've been receiving kids over there really well. I haven't seen too much on SC, but SC is SC. So I think if anybody's going to do something, phenomenal and have it laid out, I'm sure they did as well. So it's going to be interesting to see, what happens with all of these different programs and the kids that they've been recruiting, because that recruiting process is one thing, but what really happens, once you are there and over those 3 or 4 years that you're going to be there is,
Mhm.
something quite different. So, I do pray for all of the kids and the families involved that, it is what they want it to be. And the beauty, like you said, of the transport portal, even though I know, a lot of people have issues with the transport portal, but the beauty of it is that kids can make decisions now, that are
Right.
different from where they were before. So we shall see.
Yeah, it's a beautiful time to be a football player. I mean, just with the and
Isn't
I
it?
this man.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I'm so glad that we got a chance to talk, or bringing us up to date, because I knew if anybody was going to know, you were going to know what happened at Pro Day.
He
Um,
Buffalo's baby, Buffalo Nation.
Go Buffalo. But the Buffs, I have been working, like crazy. So, I just haven't had as much time to pay attention. But, hope to be able to get together with some of the moms, either before or after, probably, after they get back from the draft, and just kind of see where things are, because that's going to be going on for days.
Wow.
And there are going to be kids that, we're going to see on TV, not going to see. We're going to be kids that, are going to be called, days after. And
Right.
so it's going to be interesting. Yeah. But one
It's
thing I know for sure is ain't nothing like a mama's love and mama's support, and being able to see her kid make it to this day.
absolutely. It's gonna be nice. They're gonna have their draft day in Colorado. They're gonna have it actually there because they were
Okay.
saying like, they wanted their fans and their family members to be able to be there with them and see them, their names be called, because not everybody can afford to fly to wherever it's actually gonna be at. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be televised, and they'll have the, I guess, cameras or whatever, where you can see what's going on, the actual drafting going on in Colorado. So that's gonna be exciting. I thought
Okay.
they want to share it with their friends and family on a larger scale.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds good. All right. Well, I am so glad that we got a chance to talk. The Mama Bear podcast, In the Den with Mama Bear, Monday Night Moms, is a conversation that I truly enjoy having with Miss V, of course, and all of the other guest hosts and guests that come onto the show. So I hope y'all will listen. I hope you'll tune in, go to YouTube, In the Den with Mama Bear, and subscribe. What they say, share,
Right. Subscribe,
listen, like, right, subscribe.
send your
I'm
comment.
working on that part, but but we've gotten some, really great responses to some of the conversations, because it's definitely we're having conversations that mothers can really relate to, and dads too. So the beautiful thing is it's really all about us, being supportive and just kind of, living our lives as the moms that we are, and just wanting to see our kids succeed.
Absolutely. I'm
Yeah.
excited, sitting patiently, literally on the edge of my chair, waiting for draft day. Can't wait.
Ah, all right. So, well, I guess you'll be I know where you'll be tuned into. You should go out to Colorado and just kind of be in the mix. I mean, I don't know where they're having all of their stuff, but I'm sure just in town, there is going to be live.
Right.
So you can go out and just kind of enjoy that energy. Take Eli with you.
Right. And that would be a great thing to do for sure.
Yeah.
But if not, I will be right in front of my television
Oh,
with my
that's right.
popcorn, enjoying it.
Uh-huh. And I know you haven't been watching like that. So I know, how much you love the Buffs, that, this is definitely going to be exciting, for you. You see
Right.
see all
I
of
was
those boys
very
and all of the other boys too.
told and ready.
Mm-hmm.
My theme music playing in the background.
All right. All right. Well, I appreciate you as always, Miss V.
It
Do
has.
you want to close us out with some words of wisdom, or some like a scripture, parable, something to, I guess, to inspire others, to continue on their path, and to see themselves succeeding, in the way that been talking about for Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffs.
Right. I would have to say faith is a substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So just because it doesn't look like the way you think it's going to look like, or the way that it should like right now in this point in your life, just continue to walk by faith. Faith is walking like with a blindfold on. Although you can't see which way to go, but you trust God enough to put one foot in front of the other every day, press, do something more than you did the day before, persevere, be consistent, be diligent, and believe in yourself and trust God that he has. The plans that he has for you are good plans for you to prosper and for him not to hurt you, right? So just that God's got our back. No weapon formed against us shall prosper. He is a good God today, always, and forever.
Amen. All right. Thank you, Miss V. I'm
Bless.
all right.